You've started a new hobby again this month. Last month it was something else entirely. Before that, another thing. Somewhere in your house is a guitar you played for 3 weeks, a half-finished coding course, and a stack of books on 5 unrelated subjects. You're not flaky. You're not lost. You might just have a different kind of mind than the one everyone keeps telling you to have. Most advice says pick one lane, master one skill, find your passion, singular, and follow it forever. But some people's minds were never built to work that way, and the psychology behind it is more interesting than the shame people feel about it. Psychologist Sher spent years studying people who couldn't settle on one path. She gave them a name: scanners, not indecisive, not lazy, wired to explore widely instead of drilling down narrowly. Sher's research found that scanners don't lose interest because they fail. They lose interest because the thrill for them lives in the learning curve, not the mastery. Once a skill stops being new, the dopamine that pulled them in starts to fade, and their attention moves on right on schedule. That might sound like a flaw. But look at who else this describes. Researcher Robert Bernstein studied the personal habits of Nobel Prize winning scientists. He found something counterintuitive. The most groundbreaking researchers weren't narrow specialists who thought about nothing else. Many of them were also painters, musicians, writers, inventors. Bernstein's work suggested that breadth wasn't a distraction from their genius, it fed it. Ideas from one field kept crossing into another, and those collisions were often where the real breakthroughs happened. So why does having many interests feel like a problem instead of a strength? Because the reward shows up late, and the doubt shows up early. When you're 3 weeks into pottery and you already want to learn Spanish, it feels like failure in the moment. It doesn't feel like a strategy. It feels like you've quit again. But psychologist Todd Kashdan, who has spent his career studying curiosity, found that highly curious people process the world differently. Novelty itself lights up the same reward pathways that other people get from finishing something familiar. For a curious mind, the doing is the reward. Completion is just a bonus. This explains a strange pattern in people with wide-ranging interests. They're often incredibly good at starting, fast learners in the early stage of anything. Then, right around the point where a skill turns from exciting to repetitive, the pull fades. Not because they can't handle difficulty, but because the specific chemical reward that got them there was never about mastery in the first place. So what do you do if this is you? The answer isn't forcing yourself into a single lane you'll resent. It's realizing that connection matters more than duration. Every interest you picked up left something behind, a way of thinking, a skill that quietly reappears in a completely different context. The guitar teaches rhythm that shows up later in how you write. The coding course teaches logic that shows up later in how you solve problems nobody taught you to solve. Nothing was wasted. It was cross-training for a mind that was never meant to specialize in just one thing. Tonight, when you feel that familiar itch to start something new, you don't have to explain it away as another failed hobby. It might be the same instinct that built polymaths, scientists, and some of the most original thinkers in history. Not a mind that can't commit, a mind that was built to keep exploring, one curiosity at a time.